Hello and welcome. I'm Nathan42 and in this video I'm going to do a quick review of the Elegoo Mars Pro. Okay, so I've had this printer for just over a month now, I believe, and there is a lot to consider and to think about when you have this printer. I did not have the inkling of an idea when I first purchased it. So I'm going to start off probably from the start. And there's 5 points on this that I'd like to make, which I think are really good and bad points. But yeah, we'll get to them a little bit later. So first off, you need to have gloves. So proper safety protection. I'm lucky because I have a shed at the end of the garden, which has a bar in it, which is kind of cool. But also, no one lives here or is here, even though there is a mattress over here and like a table and stuff. Nitrile gloves. Now you need to have protection here to use this printer. So we use nitrile gloves because these I believe are like the best gloves you can get in the market at a half decent price, which will protect you from this stuff mostly. And let me just put on some PPE. Okay, so now I'm wearing gloves and there's a face mask over here, but the smell on this one isn't actually too bad. Although it's still bad and probably still harmful for you, it's not too bad in this room. So next up, what you want to make sure you have is a load of these quilted cloths. These are kitchen roll. It's pretty thick kitchen roll, but it's very necessary, especially for cleaning things off. Now I have a pot here. This pot has cured prints which have been through the isopropyl alcohol, and they can just sit in this pot for a little bit to dry off. This one is as well, and you can also use things to just cut that all up and stuff. There's the isopropyl alcohol sitting in a pot with a little benchy, which is one that I have prepared for this video. But yeah, there we go. There's what's coming. So what's going to be coming. Now you want to put a lid on the isopropyl alcohol so it doesn't all just disintegrate into the air or evaporate into the air even. We have a little box here. This has some of the things that do arrive with the Elegoo Mars. So you have the little holder, you have filter papers, you have the spatula, which is actually incredibly handy, and there is also a little pot down here. Now this little pot, I only used this once, and that was to put the stuff back into the plastic tubing. Since then, I've not had to use it again, so I mean that's quite good. And I just kind of leave it in there. This plastic here has been in here for 2 or so, maybe 3 weeks now. It's out of sunshine, even though it's right next to a window. It's out of direct sunshine. There's no lights on in here at all, and I believe that this plastic cover must act as some sort of UV protection for the printer, so you don't have to worry too much about leaving it in there for like a week or two, as long as you're doing some sort of printing at some point. I've got lab grade isopropyl alcohol, so I'm probably on some watch list somewhere because of it, and then we have the ABS like photopolymer resin, which is at 405 nanometers wavelength. This is the stuff that I got. It's actually Elegoo as well. If you look down here, 500 grams of Elegoo, bottom exposure 60 seconds, normal exposure 8 seconds. I'm not really sure what that means, but you know, it works well, and it does look really good. It reminds me of the old classic figurines that you would get, I guess when you was like younger and stuff, like, or even like army men, that kind of stuff. It's a very nice coloured resin. I've also got over here some microfiber cloths. I've not had to use them yet, but they are very handy. Just in they might become handy at one point, is what I'm going to say. Yeah. So next up, you got your USB stick. You've loaded stuff onto Qi2, which will come up in another video. I'm going to show you how to use Qi2 box, and then after you've leveled it and everything, which I can do a video on if you want, it wasn't really too difficult. You just kind of follow the instructions in the manual that comes with it. it starts, and then you get this. Now, at the moment, because it's not doing too much, there's not a huge smell, but there is also in the back here a vent, and that vent vents the air out of here through a carbon filter, and carbon filters are meant to be some of the best ones that you can get for filtering air back into the environment. There is a switch around the back and a plug as well, and that's just on and switched on. Obviously, it'd be cool to have a switch at the front to be able to turn it off when not using it, and also maybe if the fan would just stop when it's not actually in use, or after a certain amount of time after it's not been in use, because I mean it makes a little bit of a noise. It's not a huge noise, it's okay, but especially since I'm not down here, I'm not too bothered. But yeah, there is that. Now I'm just gonna go back and get the mask. Luckily, with this one, you do receive 2 masks. These masks are reusable, which means you can continuously use them until it just doesn't seem usable anymore. Now, once you've got this installed, you just want to press print. As you can see on here, you see very small pictures of the actual print itself. So I'm going to print the Rat Gnome Dwarf, which is this one here. I'll press the button. It will show a slightly bigger picture. Can you move? No. That is all you can see. And then I'll press play. And now you'll see it just starts. And one thing that I have noticed about this printer is that since the start of it, it's just been very, very industrial. So it kind of does its thing and it goes. And then it's done. And I guess that's all you really want out of it. So that's good, but you know, it's definitely not as user friendly or as people friendly as the FDM printers, as you would normally call them. So this, yeah, it just lowers itself into the plastic. Does a couple beeps, apparently. Oh god, is it going to do that the whole way through? Yeah, it does a beep. This is actually what's printing down here, so if you look on the screen, you can see that is what the screen underneath here is going to be showing. Underneath here is going to be showing. And this is when it starts to get smelly, because this is when it starts burning the plastic. So yeah, you will want to put your breathing equipment on at this point. I mean, to be fair, I don't know if I've just got used to it, the smell of it, or if it just doesn't bother me as much as it used to. It definitely does smell a lot more when you take the plastic sheathing off, but before that it's not too bad. So yeah, what you do is you print this stuff out from here, use the spatula, pry it off the bottom, pop it into this pot, which I'm guessing will probably need a cleansing at some point soon, because you can see all the little beads of plastic on the base. Here is some plastic that I dropped down a little while ago, maybe like a couple of days or whatever, and it has mostly turned into a solid. That's why you always want to have some sheets of this this good kitchen roll to hand, so that you can clear up any crud like this that may pollute your work area, because this can be dangerous to your skin. I don't think it's as dangerous as people think, but you know, it's best to be safe than to be sorry for not following guidelines and stuff like that. So yeah, just what I do is I like to keep a bin down here. This bin is full of hazardous waste, and it's also 100% compostable. So yeah, there you go. What I like to do after that is throw it into there, and then you have here some prints that we've done. So as you can see here, these prints haven't been UV cured. The surface of this one is still actually kind of slippery, which is interesting. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but I mean, it's still covered in isopropyl, so that's probably why. This is a Groot, and you can see the hands have messed up a little bit actually. So that's it does show that you don't always get perfect quality prints from this, but if you look at the body on this and the face, the detail is just incredible. The face there, wow, yeah, you can get some real good reviews of that. The cube, the torture cube, printed pretty good. Well, I say pretty good. It printed amazingly, actually. I'm quite happy with that. It's the best one that I've ever printed. Just because with the normal printers you can't get this quality, I don't think. The bottom is very nice and smooth. It's got a couple of grates on it actually, but there we go. And you can see where I tried to pry it off, as there is a bit of damage on one side. But I mean, I'm actually quite surprised because there's not that much damage on there anymore. It was a lot worse when I was prying it off. This one didn't have supports. Actually, none of these did have supports. And I would say when trying to print on this, that it would be best to use supports, because supports just make it a whole lot easier to rip it off the bed, because they have like a chamfered edge or something like that. So it kind of goes up at an angle like this, so you can very easily get the little this thing underneath it to pry it off. So yeah, I would definitely say that you should do that. This one has that kind of edges anyway, so it's not too bad to pry that off. Although there is no text on the bottom. I don't know why. I'm guessing it's a model thing, because there's much more fine detail on here than just that. If we can just get a zoom on that. Yeah, look at that. That's great. And you can see the hand a better quality there. And very interesting, because it means that there would have been some lift on this model. Still very smooth. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say about this printer at the moment. I'm probably going to do another video with some more in-depth views of these parts, and I'm going to do probably a video to show you the parts that I printed from Vigor Quest as well, because they should be quite interesting and quite good to see. Yeah, but what I just wanted to say about this printer is you kind of need to treat it as if it is an industrial printer. So let me just take this mask off quick. I can't actually smell the print, which is quite good. But yeah, it's a very fast print, I would say. It prints by layer. So by layer, I mean all at the same time. So if it takes 5 seconds to print a centimeter squared of the layer, it will take 5 seconds to cure 10 centimeters squared of the layer. So the time increase would not change based on how tall the product is. No, sorry, it will change by how tall it is, not by how wide it is or anything like that. So the wider and lower ones will probably print faster than the taller ones and the thin ones. So that's the thing to bear in mind when printing things, which is pretty interesting. Point 2, there's a lot involved with this printer, and so if you don't have a spare room to dedicate to it, then it might not be worth getting it. And that also goes on to the fact that point 3, which is it's loud. It is quite loud compared to other printers anyway. It's not too much louder than other printers, but in the past I have heard, and it's not doing it this time, but when it raises up, sometimes you get it was called something slap, but it's basically where the plastic underneath is sticking, and it's as it bounces up and down on that plastic, it's getting stuck to the plastic, and then it's making the slap noise as it goes up and down. It's also quite smelly, or normally it's quite smelly. This is ABS-like, and it's also isopropyl curable. If you have a separate room or a bit of distance from it, it's not too bad. Or maybe even some like extraction unit to take the smell out of the printer, that would be great for it as well. And then the final point is the quality of it is just amazing. So sometimes it's worth having a little bit of a thing like this, just so that you can get that great quality print that you want to get. If you're printing small figurines for D&D warfare, or anything like that, which needs to be small and high detailed, this is a great printer for it. It's a great price as well, which can't be ignored, to be fair. Like £260 I think I paid for this printer. You get a lot of the stuff with it. We didn't get the nitrile gloves. We got some gloves, I think 10 pairs of gloves, 2 reusable masks, and the spatula, a little beaker, and some filters to filter stuff back into the bottle, and the little holder thing. If you ever wondered what this was for, this thing here, that's actually so that you can hold the plate here at a 90 degrees angle, 45 degree angle, so that the remains of the plastic can drip back into the tank at the bottom. So far, it's actually a really good printer for me, and I can kind of just leave it up here, let it do its thing, go back down, watch a film, play some games, do something on the PC, and then come back up here in a couple of hours time and it'll be done. I've had very few failed prints so far. I've only had 2 failed prints. The first one was my first print. I didn't have the layer height low enough because I was a bit worried. I hear online that people have damaged the prints by making it too close to the printer, to the thing, or even damage the screen because of that. I don't want to do that, but I guess in some cases you have to go very close, to be fair. This one is going to take 3 hours, but I think Groot took only 4 or so, and some of these other ones did take a bit less. So this is for 3 figurines. If I got to a stage where I was comfortable with printing 5 or 6 figurines at once, all upright obviously, because another way to print things better is to print them at print the actual object at a 45 degree angle, because then you get these little stems that go up. It's very easy to do actually. I will show you in a soon video, a video coming up soon about Chi2 Box, about how the slicer works. But yeah, that is about it for this video. If you need more information on this, or you want me to create any more videos on this, let me know in the comment section below, and I will see what gets the most likes, upvotes, whatever, and I'll try and answer that stuff if I can in a video. But yeah, in the meantime, thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. Let me know what you think. Follow me on Twitter, that's @Nathan442, and thanks for watching.